I hope you can hear me okay. I hope you can see me okay. I'm going to take a few slow seconds to introduce as people I can see are logging in and joining us. So if you're wondering if I'm playing for time, that's exactly what I'm doing, just for a few more seconds. Then I can be confident that enough people are online for us to begin. Okay, I think we're here. So I'm just going to say, I'm going to come back and speak to you in a minute, but all I'm going to say is, Erev Tov l'kulam, good evening, everyone, from London, in this very fancy lockdown studio. No expense spared on the props. And welcome to the wonderful gala launch event for this year's 2020 Seret, the International Israeli Film and TV Festival, coming to you from London. Let's open with a lovely short film.
אתה נועדת לגדולות.
Today nobody will come.
תמשיך, נשמה שלי, תמשיך. אנחנו לא פה.
אנחנו אנשים אינטליגנטים, זאת אומרת הם.
איך זה לא נפתח?
סבתא, זה אני.
יש לך פיפי.
Wow, that's got me excited, and I've already seen that a couple of times.
Hello and welcome. I think that we're having some internet problems with Raymond, who is hosting tonight. So I think he's going to check in with you through another screen, and he's going to be able to perhaps have a better connection now. Raymond, how are you doing? Are you back, and can we hear you? This is the nature of these live events. We are doing our best to fix this.
Hello, hopefully I'm back. I am so sorry for that. This is an international film festival launch without the budget of an international film festival launch, and without the tech crew that would be at an international film festival launch. I do apologise. A dodgy internet connection in North London has affected Zoom. So those of you that dropped out, which included me, I'm very sorry. Hopefully we're back. And if Michaela just gives me the thumbs up, I'll know that we can just continue. Okay, great. Sorry about that, everybody. The rest of the evening will be smoother. Okay, what's been great about that is a whole load more people that came on late have just got on. So maybe they didn't even realize what was going on. What I'm going to do is, in a moment, I'm going to introduce our special guest for this evening. But first of all, I just want to say a couple of words about Seret, this phenomenal Israeli TV and film festival. We at JW3, the Jewish Community Centre and Cultural Centre in London, have been very proud to partner with the wonderful people at Seret for the last 6 years. This is now year 7 or 8 of the festival, and that's really a testament to the unbelievable hard work and determination of Anat, Patty, and Odelia. Anat, Odelia, Patty, I know you're watching somewhere safe at home tonight, and I salute you for everything you've done to bring the very best of Israeli culture through the big screen and the small screen to many thousands of people every year. Now, usually, and many of you will know this, we're proud to be one of the main partners of the festival, hosting many, many films in our wonderful building in Northwest London. This year, of course, like most venues around the world, and certainly in the UK, we had to close our doors 2 months ago. And what was incredible is where other events and other festivals immediately said, we have to postpone this year. Anat, Patty and Odelia, of course, said, Bichlal lo, of course not. We're carrying on as usual. And we said, Yofi, all of us, we want to make sure that the 9th year of the film festival goes ahead, even if we have to find different ways of doing it. And therefore, Seret became one of the first festivals anywhere to become an entirely online festival. And it's incredible how quickly the Seret team and the JW3 team turned everything around. So I just want to salute those 3 phenomenal, formidable women. I hope they enjoy the next couple of weeks, and I look forward to seeing you in person soon after. So everybody, I hope you're relaxed at home. I hope you followed the instructions and you have your cocktails at the ready. Give it a little shake, pour it out, give it a little stir, have a little sip, reach into your snacks, and we'll begin. I'm going to welcome onto the stage, and we're going to pretend they're on the stage with me, 2 incredible Israeli superstars. You will have seen their films before, you'll have seen TV programs with them, and please, when you see them on the screen, give them a huge round of applause. Even if you think they can't hear you, they'll feel you. So I'd like to welcome, please, Nelly Tagar and Tzachi Halevi. Hopefully, are going to join me any second, like magic. Here we go. Tzachi, Nelly, let's make sure you're not muted. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yofi, Nelly,
Yeah.
Tzachi. כמו הילדים שלי.
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Can you hear me, guys?
We hear you.
Erev Tov, Bruchim Abachim, thank you so much for joining us. I suppose you didn't have anything better to do this evening, right?
No,
Yeah.
actually no. We were supposed to be in London in Seret Film Festival, and it's such a tragedy that everything happened, exactly on Seret Film Festival. No, can't believe it.
Bashana Abba London, okay? We'll see
Amen.
you there. So before we speak to you, we want to tell everybody watching at home, because what we've got, looking at my screen in the bottom corner, I can see we've got, we only allowed a small number of people to join on the webinar so they could ask questions, but we've got about somewhere close to 600 people watching it through Facebook Live, through YouTube, through this Zoom webinar, through Seret's website. There's people in the UK, in Israel, in the USA. I can see someone in France, in Belgium. So it's really becoming international. What we're going to ask the people watching, if you are in the Zoom webinar, you have a special privilege, which is you get to ask some questions. I'm sure your questions at home are going to be better than mine. I already told Tzachi, I'm more style over substance. If you have a question you would like to ask, don't wait until the end. You will see at the bottom of your screen, there's a box that says Q&A. Don't stick it in the chat box, stick it in the Q&A box. And one of my colleagues who's waiting backstage, virtual backstage, they're going to pick up the questions and they'll make sure that during the next hour, I'll see a range of those questions. And please put your name and where you are at the moment in the question, then we can say hello to whoever from wherever. Okay, that makes it feel a little bit more personal. So that's what we are going to do. So Nelly, Tzachi, before we go any further, just tell everyone, where are you both at the moment and how's lockdown been for you? Nelly.
Well, I'm at the moment in my apartment in Neve Tzedek in Tel Aviv. My son is asleep. He's 3 years old, and my husband is watching the Eli Cohen series in the bedroom. So we are all in different rooms. And how was the lockup? Well, I wasn't really in a lockup. I was working, and I also volunteer in the Actors Union. and did a lot of work, behind the scenes to help other actors and creators in this time. I think it was a horrible time to be locked out. It was an amazing spring and so many things that were supposed to happen, and I was looking forward to them. But we did have time with the family. You always say like I should have been, I should have spent more time with the family. But you know what? Should have spent most of the time at work.
Yeah. I love my family, but there's only so much time I can spend with them.
Exactly. I didn't mean to know them so well.
Yeah, exactly. And you said you were also working a bit. You were filming?
I was not filming, but I have this TV show. It's like a political comedy it's like I don't know how to call it exactly, but you do it like every week according what's going on in the news and everything. So it was still going on. But my husband, who is also a filmmaker and a film director, he was at home,
So he was doing some of the childcare and trying to just look after the home and work. Okay, you're fair. Well, I'm glad to see that you're here and that you're well. We're going to talk a little bit more about your career and particularly a little bit about the film that you are in at the festival. And we'll have to come back and touch on Zero Motivation because it's one of my favorite films. So we're going to come back to that as well. So Tzachi, Erev Tov, thanks for joining us. And where are you at the moment?
Erev Tov. I'm placed also in my apartment in Tel Aviv. Actually, we succeeded in moving to a new apartment during this whole lockdown. Kind of a special mission, but we made it happen. I'm alone. For those who don't know, I also have a kid. He's a 16-year-old kid, but he lives in Herzliya. And Lucy, my wife, she's in the living room. And to answer your question about what I did in the lockdown, actually, in a way, I found the minute it happened, I guess, it caught all of us and kind of each one of us. I guess also Nelly, but it doesn't matter if you're an actor, but it all caught us, in a special moment where we felt. I could personally say that I really felt that I was in kind of a movement, working in different kind of projects, and also trying to move with projects that I'm producing and leading, and then it all stopped. And what happened to me is, a lot of creators, actors, singers, artists, we're used to live, these times where sometimes we don't have work and we use it to, to create. And I don't know, this specific time, the worried citizen in me became stronger than the art, and which led me to, from day one, to as I said, to go a lot I found myself a lot in the streets, demonstrating, trying to get the government to move with, to do the right actions to save to try and cope with the financial crisis that we are all living. And it's not only, the artists, it's just the general, I don't know how it is in London, but, all the people here, the independent workers, the freelancers, we were all locked down and we actually, that was the point where you discover that you don't have any rights from financial rights or any aid, from the government, which led me to, as I said, a lot of demonstrations and trying to, to shout out and to give room to all the people that were hurt financially from this crisis. And obviously also, as Nelly mentioned, as artists and the whole aspect of culture. And actually we're still on, we're still
fighting.
We're still fighting. We're still trying to find, the right way to restart the movement and restart the work and save as much as we can. Artists, whether it's actors, singers, performances, and all the people that have to do with because it's not only the artists, it's all the people, it's all the crew that is working with, with the actors and singers. I did succeed in, I don't know, writing 3 songs and trying to, to develop a new idea. And, I guess we're all, although it seems sometimes, I always remember my mother, she always told me when you're in moving down, when you're in downhill, open your eyes, because after comes the road becomes, it goes, up.
Goes
again.
up.
Yeah, so we're optimistic. We're optimistic, yes. Yeah.
And do you think, either of you, that, because during periods, very intense periods in any country, art and culture, different things can happen. Either it can close down. You have people that are fighting for survival, who haven't got money coming in, they're looking after their family. The whole idea, when somebody loses a loved one in this crisis, you can't even have Shiva or a Lavaya, it could be closed down. And other people, the creativity just comes out, and the challenge of the crisis can lead to creativity. Do you have a feeling of, in Israel at the moment, is there much artistic creativity, and are there amazing songs? Are there poems being written? Or do you get a sense it's people just trying to survive, and then the culture and the art will follow later on?
Well, I think that in Israel, in our country, we have a lot of periods of time when we are being attacked and things are not really, we have any now and then a war, an operation, something that breaks the normal life and hurts working people. And of course, this is much more radical, but for me, it's much more radical to go through a war, God forbid, and having soldiers die every night on the news. Like, for me, that's worse than what we are having now. I think that it splits. I mean, from what I see, I think that there's a lot of artists that can that takes it and they sit all day on the piano and they have a lot of time to play and to write songs. But I think for actors it's different, because I think actors do need a crowd. I'm also a stand-up comedian, and for me it's like I did a few performances on a webinar, like the thing, and it's not the same. It's not even close to being the same as performing, in front of a live audience. And I really miss it, because what makes me inspire is meeting with people and getting to know them. I was never inspired by sitting, 4 walls in my living room, but I'm sure that other people do. I get inspired when I'm like on the bus, when there's a lot of noise around me, and I can really can disconnect myself and think about the scene in a movie or a joke or whatever. But for me, sitting alone in the house, it's like the most horrible thing in the world. But maybe Tzachi have inspiration.
Well, Tzachi's going to sing us some songs, right?
Oh yeah, I didn't know.
I just thought you've written. This is the perfect time to premiere your brand new song.
That's a surprise. No, but I think I'm sure we're going to discover at the aftermath, all the creations that were created during this period of time. But again, I think when I speak about myself. And I really like Nelly. I mean, I need movement. I need people. I need to get inspired. And I did get inspired. I mean, there is an inspiration, but it's not. I guess it's gonna come later at a certain point. But going around the country, meeting other people, interviewing people, and getting to hear their stories and how they deal with this crisis that caught all of us. It brings a lot of inspiration, and it did show. Like I'm sure that like we're talking now about Zoom and all this technology, and it's funny. I think people are starting to realize that you can stay home and you can work and you don't need to go to the office. But I think at the end, what scares me the most is the extremity, because I believe eventually that us all humans, we need interactions with other humans. whether you're an artist or whether you just normal, whatever you do, you need this interaction. So I guess eventually we're going to find, hopefully, the right balance between using this technology and being able to, like we're doing now, Zoom. I mean, personally, I would prefer go on a flight, come to London and meet you guys instead of talking to you through this. But I guess it's going to be part of our lives. But I'm not a person that can stay home too much, and you reach a certain point where, okay, I'm fed up. I need to go out. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see the aftermath of this crisis.
As one of my Israeli cousins said to me a few weeks ago when I asked her, how are you finding lockdown? And she said, she gave me that classic Israeli kind of brush off. She's like, at least this time we're not in a bomb shelter. This is from, I have family that lives in Kiryat Gat, and they spend so much time. As soon as anything comes over, they're in a bomb shelter. So we can do lockdown in our own flat. We've got Netflix. It's a line I hear a lot. We've got Netflix. So I have to ask you both: have you got any? As you've had a lot of time at home, I know you've both been very busy. Have you been, maxing out on your Netflix? Have you got any great recommendations of any TV series, especially anything Israeli that you've seen that maybe we don't know over here yet?
Well, first of all, I have to say that I do watch a lot of Israeli TV, but I just finished seeing all the seasons of The Crown. So I enjoyed that. And I saw also Unorthodox with Shira Haas, that she's also a friend of mine, and I was so proud of her being in this show on Netflix. That's like a really big thing, and for any actress, and she's so talented, so I was happy, and it's such a good series also. I usually now see a lot of doco. I think that a lot of amazing documentary movies are being done in Israel, and I think that what helps me in this period of time in the lockdown is that I feel like I want to know more about the world, and that makes me feel very secure to have more knowledge and like education. And documentary movies are also like, I can enjoy it, but it also brings a lot of knowledge and a lot of facts, they calm me down. I can see that the world has been in a dangerous place many, many, many times, and we're still here. And it makes me feel more certain and secure. And I just saw the Eli Cohen series that is like amazing, about the Israeli spy that was caught and hanged in Syria in the 60s. And the Golden movie that I saw that you have here. And I just love it.
It looks incredible.
Yes.
The Golden movie, I haven't seen it yet, but from the clips I've seen, it looks phenomenal.
I think it's an amazing documentary industry in Israel, and I'm so proud to be just part of the industry, not the documentary, but the fiction one. But I highly recommend it. That's what I did the whole period of time.
Okay, so everybody watching at home, before we go to Tzachi, if you haven't had a chance to have a look at what films are going on during this festival, there's 15 or so films. There's about 8 or 9 special events and Q&As. Those ones are free. If you get a season pass, you can have the whole festival for under £50, right? You can have the entire festival. And there are some amazing documentaries, along with comedies and dramas, but I'm particularly excited to watch Golda, and also Incitement, if I can bring myself to watch it. I'm not sure yet if I can bring myself to watch it, but I feel like it's an important film to see. I don't know if either of you have seen Incitement.
No, I didn't see it yet.
Me neither.
I think I'm going to need to be in the right frame of mind to watch it, but I think it's an important film. Tzachi, any things that you've been watching, any TV series or anything you can recommend to everyone?
I can also give a thumbs up to Unorthodox with Shira Haas, which is just amazing, and she's just a brilliant actress, and it's just so exciting to to see her succeed. I had the privilege to be on set with her in the Mary Magdalene movie.
Oh, wow.
And she's just amazing. And apart from that, I don't know, I'm in the middle of seeing the Michael Jordan documentary, which is just also very inspiring to see, such a great athlete, such a great human being, with I connected, in a way to values, and and I said mostly I wasn't watching TV. I was mostly just very active in a lot of, discussions and talks, and meeting people, and creating kind of, clips and
Tzachi is
stuff.
the face of the activism here. I just have to say, they don't know it maybe, but he's on the news and he's talking very well for a lot of people, and he's their mouth, and he has a very big item, right, on Friday night.
Yeah, we just we created this video clip. We took one of the songs that was written after the Yom Kippur War, את המנגינה הזאת אי אפשר להפסיק, and we kind of we chose it to portray, to give face to all the independent workers, so people can understand what it means, and in a way to deal with the way that, I don't know how it was in London, but in a way here in Israel, was the approach to dealing with this crisis was, in a way, it felt like a lot of fear, and we wanted to talk about it and to say, okay, guys, stop. We don't need to be afraid of something. We need the right way to deal with it, and not without any paranoia or fear. And it did have a certain impact. And that's it. I don't know. I'm trying to think about other things that I had. I mean, I'm the last season of How to Get Away with Murder, which is quite exciting. I don't know, Nelly, you've seen it?
I know. How to Get Away with Murder? No, it's no kissing, no love, no.
No, it's not that. No.
In London, or actually in the UK, one of the ways that people are surviving lockdown. In fact, I'm going to actually go to a question from someone else, because they're raising the point I was going to raise, and it's just flashed in front of me. So Emily from Highgate. So that's Emily in London. So hello, Emily. Good evening. She's got a question particularly for Tzachi. She says that, the way that she and everyone she knows is surviving lockdown is by binging on fowder. Like, that's, you can't go anywhere here. Jews, non-Jews, the people that like us, the people that hate us, everyone's watching fowder and everyone's talking about fowder. So she wants to know, she's just watched the first 3 seasons. Like, her eyes are probably bulging out of her head at the moment. She's just watching it the whole time. But she wants to know, what about season 4? Are you already working on season 4? And when will it come to the UK?
Honestly, and truly honestly, I have no idea. I don't know. I think they're on the verge of writing the 4th season, but sorry, I don't have the answers. I guess it's gonna be, they're writing it. I don't know what's happening with the 4th season, and I don't know if I need to say, because I don't know if people have seen the 3rd season, but I'm not on the 3rd season. I went on vacation. So,
Are you the same person? So her follow-up question from Emily in London was, are you and the other guys, are you good friends outside? Because it looks like such a camaraderie, such a brotherhood on camera. And obviously you're great actors, I get that. But a lot of people want to know, are you also friends off of it?
What's special, I think, in the world of acting is, you get to work, especially in the TV series and in television and in cinema, there's a period of time where you work together and it's very intensive, and you have this, bond and relationship. And then afterwards, it depends, on, if you find the right, I don't know, the right connection. I am in touch with the guys, some of us are better friends, some of us are, less in touch. But also, I guess it's special, specifically the world of Fauda, where it deals with, this, how do you say, camaraderie, which is very typical to especially in the army here in Israel. Like, for me, my best friends are friends from the army, and with them I am in touch for the past 26 years. And that's the best connection I have. So you try to portray it on television, and obviously, I guess we did a good job, because it does look that we are very close friends.
And a similar question to Nelly, that Omri Omri from London, Omri from London asks, is there another season of Sisters planned? And he follows that up by saying, please.
I'm so glad. I really love this TV show, The Sisters. Unfortunately, not all the comedies come to Netflix from Israel, so I'm glad you do see them, Omri. I do know that they are working and writing, the season 4. They are working because everything is, the Corona crisis and whatever. It's not really understood when we're going to shoot it. We're supposed to start shooting it in September, but I guess it's going to be postponed.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, I love this show so much. And when we thought the 3rd season, usually they don't do here more than 3 seasons. I mean, they do, but if it's like, have to be like a very sitcom, very simple, I don't want to talk bad about other shows, but, something not as, invested as the rest. And the Sisters are, I'm so proud of this show, and I love it. And when we heard that there's going to be another season, we were like, and also we are very close. I mean, the 3 sisters, we are in touch, and also with the Guri Alfi, the director, and the writers. I was with them just last summer in France with the children and everybody. We went for 2 whole weeks, so we are good friends. But it's a small cast, so
yeah. And I mean, maybe they can do the next series. It can just be the sister. You're just all in lockdown in separate houses, and you can just film it on a smartphone, low budget.
No budget. It's no budget anyway, but it's going to be even no budget at all.
There's a great question just come in. So you might know the person who's asked the question, Hannah Brown, who is the movie critic for the Jerusalem Post. And she did a really lovely piece that came out a few days ago. I don't know if ever you read the English press, but she did a great feature about this festival, including talking about you both in this event. It's in the Jerusalem Post from Sunday or Monday, so I would recommend you reading it. She wants to know, now be careful because she might quote you in the Jerusalem Post, so think about the answer now. She says that you've both been really successful, both in comedies and in drama. A question for both of you: do you prefer acting in comedy or in drama? Which one is more your comfort zone, and which one do you prefer in, or you just doesn't really matter to you?
Nelly, you want to?
I can answer. For me, there's no such thing as a comfort zone. For me, it's comfortable in acting in something that I love. I do a lot of stuff, also have a stand-up comedy, and I do movies and TV shows. And I just did on Hanukkah. We have here, like, how maybe you have it like the Christmas show that you have maybe.
Yeah.
For the whole family. So on Hanukkah, we have the same thing. And I played Pippi Longstocking, and it was one of the most amazing experience that I had on stage in my life. So it's always difficult for me to say, where do I feel more comfortable? I don't really know, because when I love what I do, when I love the text, when I love the part, like when I did Pippi Longstocking, it was like, I never thought that I would, I thought that I would love it, but I never imagined that I would go crazy about it. And I remember that in the beginning, I said, okay, it's like nice money and it will be an adventure. And I know it's hard. It's like 4 shows a day, but it's going to be like, okay. And I just fell in love with the character. And even though it was just a Hanukkah show, I see it as one of the peaks of my life. I mean, for me, physically and acting and doing it, it felt, I still remember how when I was a little girl, I saw Peter Pan and the effect it had on me. And when I was acting in Pippi Longstocking, I thought maybe I can make the same effect for the children that watch this show now. So for me, I never think about, I prefer doing comedies, because if the comedy is not written well, so you don't want to do it. And if the drama is not written well, it's all depends how it is being written. Yeah. Is that good English, or I just invented a time?
Perfect. In fact, you say, is it good English? Lots of people have been sending me a similar question to you both, which is, wow, we didn't know your English was so good. Come on, what about auditioning for an American or British TV series? Because you could do it in English. I mean, people are really ממש יותר טוב מהעברית שלי.
Well, we're looking forward, and just for me, it's funny because you know, to those of you, I'm basically a musician. I just discovered like acting in 2013 with the movie Bethlehem. So I've been I've been acting for the past 8 years, and since Bethlehem was a drama, I obviously it kind of I don't know. I was offered a lot of dramatical roles, and a lot of people don't know. I'm kind of I love humor. I love laughing. You know, also with Nelly, I had the great privilege of, you know, having just, you know, playing with the sisters. You know, we had
Yes.
we had a great time together, and I love humor, and I love uh, being foolish, and so I was mostly casted to these dramatical roles, and thank God these past 2 years I had the privilege of being in 3 movies, comedies. One of them All In, one of them called Mechila, and one Mossad, which is, I don't know if it's still came out in. I think it's going to come out soon also abroad. But you know, the Mossad was the genre of Naked Gun, Airplane, this kind of humor, and I I didn't believe that I'm getting paid to portray, you know, this to play this movie, because it's just a lot of nonsense and, you know, things that I love. So I really enjoy doing comedies. You know, each comedy has its own specific you know, aspect, because it's Mechila was written in a way it's also a comedy, but you know, it has kind of, you know, in every comedy you have the drama. It's just like Nelly said, if it's written in the right way, and you just need to be to believe in what you're saying, but you're just saying nonsense. Like I remember with All In, I was shooting with the Shlomi Koryat and Maor Cohen, and there was this scene that we're kind of hiding behind these rocks, and Maor Cohen was coming out and shooting with a gun, and we're hiding behind the rocks, and then, you know, I started laughing like crazy, and Shlomi is looking at me and says, "Why are you laughing?" In the middle of the shoot, and I said, "Listen, guy, can you believe it? I mean, we're 43 years old, we're playing like, you know, this scene that we're hiding behind the rocks, and we're getting paid for this. This is crazy." So, but I do think that, and Nelly, I guess, you know, because honestly, you know, I think the most challenging thing is doing stand-up. I mean, I know how it is to be on stage. I know how it is to sing and stuff, and it's quite exciting. But to be on stage and to make people laugh all by yourself with a microphone, wow, I think that's the highest level that you can reach. And this is why I think it's, in a way, it's, I don't know, my thought is to make people laugh is much more harder than to make them cry.
That's true.
So so, and I think we talked about, you know, comfort zone. I think for us artists, the way I see it, I love to challenge myself. I don't want to be comfortable in what I do, because I believe that if you're comfortable, then you don't get to develop as an artist. You don't get to stretch your barriers. So
amazing. Thank you. It's a great opportunity to start opening the conversation a little bit into the films that we've got coming up at the Seret Film Festival with you both in. And I was struck by the real contrast between the style, the genres of the films you're in. You know, Nelly, you know, The Art of Waiting, it's a emotional roller coaster of a film, you know, a beautiful, engrossing film. And the pace of that film couldn't be more different from Mossad with you, Tzachi, which I cannot remember. And I'm listen, I'll let you into a secret. I'm a chnun, right? And I love Israeli film, and I have a pile of DVDs. Every time I go to Israel, I buy more and bring them back. I don't remember ever seeing an Israeli film like Mossad. It's so un-Israeli to me, which made it so exciting for me. And even All In is that kind of, I don't know, not screwball comedy, that really, you know, for someone who the British audience are especially used to seeing in Fauda, to go from that to All In. So I want to hear a little bit from both of you about the two films you're in. You will get chances later in the festival. I know, Nelly, you're doing another Q&A, and I hope I got that right. Yeah, good. And the audiences are going to see them, but our audiences watching at home all over the world have got a chance now to book tickets for both your films. So can you just tell us, Nelly, a little bit about your film, and particularly how it was playing such a role that was so personal for the writer and director of the film?
First of all, I'm very excited because it's the first time I'm actually talking about the movie, I think, in English. So maybe I will have a vocabulary problem, so you have to help me. So I am excited that, you know, people that don't live in Israel are going to see The Art of Waiting, because people say when they see it, oh, it's so Israeli, although it's not just so Israeli. I think fertility problems, people have it all over the world, and it's a non-talked about subject. In Israel, children are an obsession. I mean, if you don't have a child, you're like, what? You're like, how can you breathe? It's like, and also the country encouraged that. I mean, that Israel, I think, is the only country in the world where the insurance, they cover it. The country pays for all the fertilities, even if you're a single mom, until the age of 45.
Wow.
Up until, you know, you can have 2 children and up, you know, so that's a lot. And I think that as I grow older, I see that a lot of my friends, let's just say we're like 6 best friends from high school. So half of my friends, their children was brought into this world by fertility treatments. And even though it's very, very popular, it's like a non-talked subject and a little bit of taboo. People don't want to talk about it, don't want to admit that they have problems. So the director and the creator and the writer of the movie, Erez Tadmor, that also wrote it with the Asaf, my partner, he have 2 children, and he brought them with very difficult for 6 years their fertility treatment, and he swore, he said, one day I'm going to make a movie about it, but it's not going to be just a sad movie. I'm going to make it like a movie that you can also laugh about it and enjoy it, and it's not going to be a downer.
Yeah.
And when I first read the script, I cried. I mean, I had my son, my firstborn, I think he was less than a year. And and it was an emotional for me, because I know what it's like to long for your own child, and how, you know, you see all the people around you just having babies, and it's like sneezing for them, and you know that you have problems, and you feel like you're defective and something is wrong, and the whole relationship goes into a roller coaster, and the treatments are very difficult, especially for the women. And for me, it was also challenging to make such a dramatic role, but I didn't want to make it like a dramatic, you know, the piano now, you know, not like, I didn't want to make it that dramatic, because I really wanted to make it where people will feel comfortable watching it and not feeling sorry for the couple, but identifying with them and wanting them to succeed and loving them, and will fall in love with this couple. And I'm so glad that when it came out in Israel in last December, it got a lot of love from the critics and the audience, and people loved that movie, and it was talked about, and it was a success. And it's not obvious these days to have success in the movies, because people don't get out of the house even before the lockdown. So I think the lockdown was just extreming the process that we already are doing. And it was also, like, I think, my first mature role, because usually I play a lot of young, disturbed women. I don't know what's going on with me. I have no job. I'm in the army. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I have no boyfriend. I have no money. And now I had an opportunity to play like a young woman that is more or less my age, that is just wanting to have a family, just small little obvious dreams. And she cannot even get that. And I loved to do it, and I was so happy with the result. And I'm so sad that I cannot be in each and every living room with you, watching you watch it.
I think if you were there, you would have to bring a big box of tissues for everyone. It's
I think they can also laugh. There's a lot of laughing stuff. Of course, they have a gay brother. It's like two families. That my husband is like Moroccan, and we're like Ashkenazim, and there's a lot of.
it has a lot of lightness of touch in it, which I found beautiful, because it makes the drama and the sadder bits even more sad, because there's these, like you said before, Tzachi, about when you go down, you go up. You know, there's a bit to go up. When you said that before, I was thinking of this film, Nelly, and it has that lightness to it. And it's also, I have never been through, thankfully, we have two children. We never had to, go through the difficulties. I have friends and people that went through it, but it felt so incredibly realistic. Of course, it was written directed by someone who's gone through it, but I know there's people that were asking or assuming that maybe you as the actress, that reflected your own personal experiences. And I always wonder if you feel like saying, no, that's called acting. That's the point.
Good acting. That's good acting. And that's good acting. But I don't need, an actor doesn't have to go really through the whole process. Like when, there was a show that I loved when I was a child that they called Oz, that they're like in the prison.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they didn't take all the actors to prison to know how to act it. So for me,
they didn't beat them all up.
No, they didn't beat them all up. And for me, it's not, I think playing a soldier or playing Natalie from the Sisters or playing in Past Life, I think Past Life was much more challenging because I had to play a young woman from the 70s. It's a very different Hebrew. It's a different holding the body. It's she's very intelligent. And here she's a lot like me and a lot like my friends, and she's more simple than a movie, character. She's not bigger than life. She's life. And I just have to... What?
Yeah, just Yashar Koach. It's a beautiful film. I think it's going to get an incredible reaction from people here. You will have people crying and laughing. I hope people will have a chance to... I don't know, are you at Twitter? Do you tweet?
I don't tweet. I'm on Instagram and I am on Facebook. I do not tweet because it's too difficult to be on Twitter for me.
Yeah. So you'll have to wait and see people's reactions.
Yes, but I will go in. I will go in through Tzachi's Twitter.
Yeah, if you want to get mad, you just you open up the Twitter and then you get mad and that's it. If you need to pump up yourself with energy and anger, that's the way.
Yeah, the Twitter. It's too much hate for me in the Twitter. I'm a person of love.
So I think there'll be a lot of love for this film from British audiences and from around the world. And batzlacha with it. And we look forward to screening it in the festival and with a Q&A with you. And Tzachi, these two comedies, again, the audiences here know you more from the gritty roles, from Fauda. And here you are in Mossad. Like I said, it makes me think of the films like Airplane and Naked Gun. Really, it's in that style. And All In, which is a really different kind of humor. I was trying to remember the last kind of comedy like that I could think of was Chagigat Besnuka. I mean, that's going back a bit. So just tell us, what was it? How was it for you coming out of your kind of those macho man roles and into this comedy?
Although I don't know, I saw in the clip that you showed, it's not All In. Do you have All In or Forgiveness? Which kind?
You have All In and Mossad.
Oh, you don't have Mechila because you have shown Mechila with Hanan.
That's okay. So that's going to be the someone who edited that is going to get tied up around the back by a couple of the Fauda guys.
Okay. I will talk. I will talk about maybe because I don't know if Forgiveness Mechila is going to come to get to the festival, but
not this year.
What?
Not this year. We've got All In and Mossad this year.
Okay, so All In, All In. It's funny because All In. My role was the dramatical role in this, with these guys. You have these guys that are friends and, they're going on a kind of a road trip. They have, kind of a mission, but in a way they're using, they're making up a story in order to bring their friend, their friend with them, which I portrayed this role. I lose my grandfather and he asks me to go and spread his ashes, which is something that not very typical to to us Jews. So it was funny because I remember I found myself just needing to cry all the time. And I remember there was a certain point where Yonatan Bar-Ilan, he was the director and the creator, which was amazing to work with. I tell him, listen, guy, I don't know where to bring, I just made up all the craziest stories in order to cry. I need some help. But it was just an amazing, this kind of comedy was great because we had also a lot of, we dealt with, sensitive issues, relationships and friendship and I remember a lot of laughs. So as I said, I love laughs. I love humor. So for me, it was a great way to start, to start doing comedies. And we shot in very beautiful places, and there was a lot of music and a lot of it was really a great fun to do it. Great fun. And as I said, we had all these scenes, like I said, with the shooting and stuff. So that was for me, a great challenge and a great way to start comedies, because that was the first movie I did that was a comedy. Then I did Mechila, which we'll talk about, on a different occasion. But then when I got to read the script of the Mossad, that was, I grew up on these movies. The Zucker brothers, they made up all this Airplane, Naked Gun, this kind of humor. And as a child, I loved these movies. And when I read the script that was written by Alon Gourarier, him specifically, he's just an encyclopedia of humor and comedy. He knows everything. And it was funny because when he sent me the script, when you read a script of these kind of movies, it looks like Chinese, because you need to start imagining, because it's full of nonsense, and you need to start creating these images in your head. But since I knew the way he wanted to go, I just fell in love with it. And I said, listen, man, you're making my dream come true. And I remember at a certain point, he said to me, listen, I'm thinking of giving you a different role, not the lead role. And I said, what? And I told him like this, I said, listen, I know that this is going to be a great challenge for me. And I know it's a great challenge for you also, because he did a short movie called Mossad, and it took him about almost 10 years to do the whole feature. And I said, I know you're taking a chance, but if I'm doing this movie, I want to go all in. I want to do, that role, the role of Guy Moran, this agent who is just, he thinks he's James Bond, but
great name.
He's really not. So, it took a month of back and forth, and then he said, okay, let's do it. What I can tell you is, first of all, we had the chance of working with David Zucker. He came to Israel, and to meet him and to talk about the screenplay and to understand what I said. Like he said, listen, you just need to be in the scene and spot, believe what you're saying, even if it's nonsense, and this is nonsense, and this is the way it's going to work. And I had the privilege of working with the best comedians we have, whether it's Tal Friedman, which it's just, there's this scene where we're riding the car and we're changing places. I think we shot the scene about 3 hours because we couldn't stop laughing every time we did something else, something different, and we're, changing places, and we didn't stop laughing. Ilan Dar, Gilad Mago, just, great comedians. So for me, it's also learning. Always learning. I think the minute you act with people that have a certain experience, then you always get, and if you come very open-minded, then you get to learn a lot from them. I really, truly enjoyed this movie. I had the chance of diving from a plane, going into, I was very physical, which I love being physical. There wasn't a moment that I didn't enjoy it. And also there, I said, I would do this for free, because I just...
Don't tell them, Tzachi.
Yeah, I told them, but it's okay. I have my agent. She's the one who's dealing with the, you know.
If your agent is watching this, she's going to be so angry right now.
Yeah, but this is, this is why we have agents. They have to deal with all this. No, but just just to portray the sensation, the thrill of enjoying it, and I said, it was a challenge, but since I come from this world of humor, I really enjoyed it, and we love the result. And as you said, I think it's something that is we haven't had this kind of comedy. Maybe Eretz Neder, they did one Zoe's Dom, which was kind of in a way similar to that. So
do you think? I mean, I'll ask you Tzachi, but also Nelly, because you're both very funny in playing comedy. But a question I was going to ask, but Madison from London is asking the question, which is whether you think that, because Jewish humor is very famous around the world, but usually it means American Jewish humor, right? Larry David and Seinfeld, or maybe British Jewish humor like Sacha Baron Cohen. I know you mentioned you were watching Eli Cohen, not as funny as his other work.
Yeah.
But that's that we think of that as Jewish humor and Israeli humor. Madison's asking, do you think there's a difference between Israeli humor and Jewish humor? Do you think there are things that connect diaspora Jewish humor and Israeli Jewish humor, or they're just completely different?
Well, for me, humor is humor. It's like to say, is there like women humor? That's what they ask me all the time. Is it like women humor? No, it's not a woman humor. It's humor. It's funny. It's funny. It's not. It doesn't matter who says it. If it's a woman, if it's a man. Jerry Seinfeld is one of the most successful comedians all over the world. Do people look at him just, oh, he's the successful Jewish? No, he's a successful comedian. No matter what. And also here, I think that it's a matter of like in Germany, there's not a lot of stand-up comedy in Germany. It's like different the way they see it. There's like French comedies that are also different. But so I see it, it's funny or it's not funny. It's not like you have to put like an underline under it. Is that a word? Did I invented a word? Okay. So I feel that I can see Dave Chappelle and enjoy it, and I can see Louis C.K. and enjoy it, and I can see Ellie Wong and enjoy it. And I don't think, oh, it's like Asian humor. No, it's not Asian humor. She's a woman. She makes me laugh. I don't see. She talks about things that I relate. They say that humor it's identification. No, in הזדהות, איך אני אומרת?
הזדהות, to identify with something.
When you identify with something, it's like when I see it on stage, I laugh because I see myself in it. So I can see myself into Louis C.K. life, even though we have a very different life, because his humor is good and it makes me laugh, and I can see Seinfeld over and over again, and Sarah Silverman makes me laugh, and a lot of people makes me laugh, and I don't look at them and that's more women humor, that's more Southern humor. No, it whatever makes me laugh. Zero Motivation was successful all over the world, and it's about the Israeli army and about 3 secretaries in the Israeli army, and you could say, how could people outside of Israel can even understand it? But you know what? They did. And that's why this movie won in Tribeca Film Festival, and Tali Lavi, the director, won in the Nora Ephron Prize as Best Director. Because humor is humor. I mean, the movie that was just won the Parasite from South Korea. Okay, so what's for us in South Korea? But it was a successful movie. And when I saw this movie, I said, oh my God, I can't believe that I saw such an amazing movie. Because when a movie is good, it's an international language. When humor is good, it's an international language. It has no gender. It has no religion. It's a story being told. And the human race loved stories from, day one. We love to hear stories from Iraq. We like to hear stories from the Shtetl. We like to hear stories all the time, but it's all about the same thing, about human beings. And I'm running for presidency, so I'm kidding.
Yeah. Vote Nelly. Vote Nelly. 4 more years.
I already voted Nelly a long time.
Wait, we said you have an election every other week, so it's
Yeah, so
In 2 weeks,
Tzachi.
2 weeks, in 2 weeks. I think there is kind of a difference because, I think, obviously it's very natural because, you have the Israeli society, the Israeli culture it exists 70 something years. That's it. Maybe before, okay, we had Judaism and we had, in a way, our kind of humor. But I do think there are some specific things that are connected to Israel, to Israeli humor, and especially in the movie scenes. Like if I take the Mossad, for example, obviously, people. I mean, I saw the screenings in the States, and understood. Then we were in a screening in somewhere in Europe. I don't remember where there is the barrier of language, and sometimes you need to think how to translate. Like there was in the Mossad a certain point where I go, I'm very like the spy, and then I see something beside me, and it's just a pint of yogurt with, how do you say, poo?
yeah, true.
Poo.
Duty.
In Hebrew, you say "chara baleben."
Yeah.
So, and when you try to translate it into English, it doesn't necessarily work. So I think there are some specific things that you can identify as Israeli humor, as opposed to other humor. And obviously, it's right, because when there's something funny and people laugh, but sometimes when you take, for example, again, the Mossad or a movie, then I guess people in certain places will laugh at certain moments, where in other places people will laugh. And I know, like in Israel, people laugh because there was a scene where I tell Efrat Dor, which is also amazing. We were sleeping, and I tell her, let's sleep. In Hebrew, you say "bo nishan kapiyot," like spoons.
Spoons.
Yeah, okay. What? Let's sleep spoons. I don't know how it's So I do think, in general, yeah, humor is humor, but sometimes you do need to identify these special moments.
Of course, when we did their motivation, and there's the scene that I do like push-ups, and then I see Azrieli, the towers. So when you see the frame, so of course in Israel everybody knows that the Azrieli tower is near the base in Tel Aviv in the Kiryah. But okay, so they didn't laugh in the exact same spot, but they left also in other places that the Israeli crowd did not laugh at it. They understood things differently, and of course the translation is difficult, but it's difficult in any. I'm sure that we didn't understand a lot of things from Parasites. Also, you cannot understand it all, but I think when you understand the majority, and that's why I think that also Israeli movies are. I mean, compared to the size of the country, it has like waves that people see it, around the world.
Definitely.
People are interested in it, and interested in the humor, and in the comedies. Fauda is the most successful TV show right now, really all over the world. Like Tzachi cannot, in South America, he's like Jon Snow. He cannot walk in the street.
Black snow. Brown.
I thought when you said about Zero Motivation, and I told you how much I love the film, when you say that people react slightly differently, I remember watching it in JW3 in our big Ulam, sold out, the 300 seats, with an audience that was very mixed of British Jews and Israelis. And I had friends there that were British and friends that were Israeli. And we did laugh at different things, and we reacted differently. And when we finished, like the Brits were kind of like, that was really funny, but oh my God, that's, and all the Israelis, especially the female Israelis, all said, yeah, that was like from my diary. That could have been a documentary, basically. That's just what happened, and the rest of us needed a drink afterwards.
Yeah, it's also like, the Mossad, what's funny about it, it's that I think in a way it's the first time that in a way we're making fun of the Mossad, which is, something for us here in Israel.
Yeah. Be careful. Watch your back now. Watch your back. Yeah.
It's okay. I have my friends. It's okay. I'm
not. I'm very conscious that it's 11 o'clock at night at your end, so we're going to finish really soon. We're going to wrap up in the next couple of minutes. Someone wanted to ask Matt in London, Matt in Highgate in London, wanted to ask you both, and this is a nice way to kind of maybe finish before I say something else about the festival. If there was someone you could choose, not family, not someone that you are related to, anyone that you could be stuck in lockdown with, apart from your own family, who would you choose and why? Now that question came out of nowhere, right?
Whoa.
Yeah. So I think Matt from Highgate might be hoping one of you says him, but assume it's not Matt from Highgate and not your family. Who would you choose to be in lockdown with?
That's a very tricky question.
יש לי זיתים ושתייה.
Okay.
I would say I would love to be locked down with a bottle of whiskey and that's it. No, I'm just
With Jack and Daniel.
First of all, I was locked with a bottle of whiskey. So with my family, and he was welcome into the party. And when the family, we had him in. But I have to think about it, who I would love to be locked up in. Wow. Maybe with the cast of Fauda.
Why?
I would feel very safe.
Safe?
I mean, safe and very like talking, like.
Okay, so Nelly will be the cast of Fauda. I would love to be stuck with the sisters.
I mean, it's almost like we rehearsed it rather than making it up as we go along. Look at that. That's great. Listen, I'm really looking forward to audiences' reactions to the films that you're in during this festival, which is really going to be a huge festival this year. We said to people that the advantage this year of being a virtual festival is nobody has to book a babysitter. Nobody has to worry about the designated driver. You can have a drink. We are guaranteeing everyone front row seat, best seats in the house. So this is all great. You can book it. You can watch it with anybody in your household. We're really encouraging people. I've got a long list of films that I want to see. I'm so curious about Peaches and Cream, the Guy Bentwich film. It sounds like something I've never seen.
Yes, it's amazing.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear what people say about it when they're chatting about that online. As I say, your films are going to go down well. Toda rabba, you've given us an hour and a quarter of your time. Batzlacha, stay safe, stay well, and we hope to see you Bashana Haba London.
Amen.
Thank you both. And I'm going to just say to everyone else who's watching this at home, wherever you are, please do make sure that you go on to the Seret website, go to the JW3 website, look up Seret. There's all of the films you can buy. I highly recommend the best value you can do is buy a festival pass. It's like £49 or something. Buy the pass and then you can watch any of the films. There's another 7 or 8 of these events, Q&As, special events with actors, with directors. Those are free. And the more of you that join, the more of a party we can have. So until then, I'm just going to say to everyone, L'chaim, Toda, stay safe, and enjoy the festival. Thank you.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Nelly.
Bye,
See you
Matok.
soon. Bye,
No.
Mommy. She goes.